back. 918, a little bit of change. Vitality Speaks. Jackie Duty and the executive director with now former board member.
That's right.
Yes.
Shannon Vitali. How are we doing today?
We're doing great.
Well, Jackie, you can't let her go.
I can't. Okay, so I have been so blessed with the most incredible board. I mean, this last year has been amazing, and Shannon has been such a key part of that because just her coming in, her perspective and her wisdom and knowledge just from the medical side of it has been incredible. But then, let me tell you, last year, going into the auction, she is a warrior. She hit the streets, and I mean,
Get it done.
It was incredible. And it's just when you have a group of people that are so dedicated and passionate about the work, it changes everything. I mean, it makes it fun. It makes it just enlightening. I mean, I'm
Right.
learning so much.
Well, Shannon, why don't we do this before we talk about Vitality? Let's talk about your healthcare background too with OSF and what led up to also joining Vitality or Thrivent or whatever era we were in.
All right. Well, let's see. I became a nurse much later in life. I was actually 50.
Wow.
I know, starting out, and was fortunate to work at OSF in their OB department. Loved it. And during that process, in a nutshell, we had the Creighton Model Fertility Care System come in, which could be natural family planning, but it actually has a science behind it that brings women up to health.
Okay.
And a woman came out, a representative, and wanted to recruit some of us so that we could teach that here in Alton. And I was like, do I need to learn something new at this age? Come on, I've become a nurse.
You're right.
Is this something I know? Do I want to do more? And I really didn't respond.
Yeah.
And she kept emailing me, and I'm like, okay, we had all these other people who put their hat in, were curious too.
Yeah.
What was it about me?
Mm-hmm.
And she goes, I want you to do this. And I'm like, I don't know. And I had gone to church one day, and I'm like praying over this, right? And I'm like, God, what direction do you want me to go in? Because there was something else out on the side. This was right before our department closed. And I picked up my bulletin, and it was Respect Life Week.
I'll be darned.
And I'm like, or no, it was Natural Family Planning Week, which is in October, right? And I'm like, oh, I get it. Okay, so now I know what I'm supposed to do. So I did respond, and I took the course, which was a lot.
I bet.
I'm a mother. My kids we're still young at that point, and more education, more training. But I feel so blessed in having doing that. So now I'm teaching people about their cycles, something that I didn't do. I mean, I didn't understand. I'm a mother of 6. I worked in OB for years.
Right.
I understood how babies were born, but I didn't understand all the science that goes in before it. And I was amazed at how much information there was. And that just blew my mind.
Well, I'm sure there's so many great parts of what you do because, for so many, but for some, it might be very, you think, wow, it's like a cycle for these guys. Every year there's another, child coming.
Right.
But for other families, planning and really going through those hurdles. I mean, there's spiritual battles, there's mental battles.
There are.
When I say physical battles, I mean fighting, but there's, there's conversations that two partners have because of the journey. And I'm sure that you've seen every bit of that scope.
Right. It is amazing. Truly, life is amazing.
Isn't it really?
It is. And I was just talking to you guys before we got on the air about, and this is really important for people to understand. I always thought that it was the fastest swimming sperm that made it to the egg that surrounds the egg.
Survival of the fittest.
Right.
Yeah.
That's what we're taught. And the one that can get it in and fertilize that egg is the winner, if you want to say. New science has shown that that's not necessarily the case. Each individual egg has its own unique DNA, right? Wow. And each egg is different. And it needs to be fertilized by a sperm that complements its DNA, not to make a perfect human being, because we are not perfect,
right,
but to make a human being that is good enough to survive. And so the egg
is a puzzle.
It kind of, yeah. So the egg gets surrounded by the sperm. They're all burrowing in, but there's a receptor site on that egg. And if the sperm does not fit that receptor site, it will not enter the egg. Wow. So that egg is like saying, nope, not you. Nope, you're not the right one. But the one that fits, which is like the right key to enter the egg, is the one that fertilizes. And if you think about that, we're not accidents.
No.
This is God's way of creating each one of us. Each one of us is unique and precious, and we're here for a purpose. And I share that with not just people who are trying to avoid pregnancy, because you can use it for that. But if you think about, I work with a lot of couples who are struggling to become pregnant.
Exactly, yeah.
And it's like, you just haven't had
the right key
yet,
yeah.
right? And it's going to be God's timing, right?
Yeah.
Because everyone is a miracle.
Everyone is a miracle.
It's such a really
and it's so blessed. But getting back to the story, so in working with the fertility care, then my church, we had a priest who was very much pro-life. All priests are pro-life, but he wanted to get something else going here, which was Luncheons for Life, which I did years ago. And with another woman who used to teach natural family planning at our church, he approached us and said, hey, I want you guys to meet with this benefactor and let's get this up in our area, which we did for like 5 years. And from there, I met Kara, right? Because she would come to the lunches when we were Thrive, right? My friend was on the board. She was leaving the board, and we kind of had this policy. I don't know how you let me get off. You have to bring in somebody new to replace you. And so she introduced me.
Nobody told me that.
I know. I wasn't going to tell you either. You can't just walk away. You get your replacement. But I'm not leaving you completely. We've got some people coming.
Let you go.
I know.
You know, it's you're not officially shown to the meetings anymore, but you're still
with you. And I think that what a blessing. And again, how I talked about how God creates life. He also puts us in situations that we're meant to be in. Yeah. Right. We all have a purpose for being here, and was so blessed to be on that board. It all changed the way that I looked at life, to be honest with you. Wow. Before doing natural family planning, I was busy with my own kids, and my thought was every woman makes her decision. I made my decision to have kids. I'm not going to judge you. That's God's place. Right. Not really thinking about the baby that's involved. Right. And when you get involved in things like Thrive or Vitality Women's Healthcare, standing on the sidewalk for 40 Days for Life, which is another thing that we organized as well, and I was on the board for that as well, and these Luncheons for Life, you start to learn from people. Yeah. It really, we can claim ignorance to a certain point, but once it's put in front of you, then it's your choice. And you have to stand up for life, because life is so basic. It's precious and it's basic. If we can get this life issue to recognize that, I think a lot of our problems in the world will go away.
What is serving on the board, Shannon, really meant for you as a person, both spiritually and just who Shannon is as well?
I know. Well, first of all, I don't have a lot of great skills outside of just being a person.
I just love talking to you so much. Same here. You're Shannon.
I'm just Shannon.
You're doing a lot of really good stuff.
Well, I guess we all have gifts, spiritual gifts, we'll say, right? Yeah. Do we know what they are? Do we see them within ourselves? I don't. I am willing to do the work. That's all I can say. This is something I believe in. When I come to these meetings and we look at the board, I can see what every person, what their strengths are. Yeah. I don't see mine.
Oh, we do.
I know you guys tell me that, but I don't.
Everyone else does, but you don't. You don't
recognize your own. So. I think I bring a little humor. I'm always late, so I make them. They have to learn patience with me, things like that. But I am willing to do the work. And, throughout my role as a mother and having boys who are in Boy Scouts, a daughter who is in Girl Scouts, we sold a lot of cookies. We sold a lot of popcorn. We've approached a lot of people. And I felt like those were skills that I was teaching our troops, how to talk to people, look at them in the eye, how to ask for something, and how to not be afraid that people are going to say no. Because a lot of people are going to say no. Yeah. But unless you ask, you're not going to get a yes. And that's where I came in handy last year, because it didn't bother me that people said, I expected them to say no.
You're going to have to ask 1,000 times before you get the one yes or whatever the ratio
what it really is. Yeah. And I'm going to go, I'm just going to ad-lib if he's not asking the questions.
Okay, let's go for it.
So last year, had actually took time off from work and said, okay, this is my day. I'm going to go store to store. I'm going to meet people. I'm going to ask, see what they can do for us. Do they know who we are? We were transitioning we had a new CEO, that's Jackie, and we were changing our name. That needed to be put out there. And they needed to know that we're there. A lot of people drive by us and don't even know.
They don't know
what Thrive was.
Or they think they know.
Right. And they don't. That's true. That's very true. And so just introducing Vitality Women's Health, let them know we had this new jingle and bid fundraiser that we're trying to put together, and would they be interested in supporting us? And in doing that, if I could get them to listen and have a conversation, it's just a conversation like we're having here. Hey, I introduced myself. I'm on the board for this. We're having this fundraiser. Would you like to support us? And they're sometimes like, no, we don't do that. Okay, thank you very much. Sometimes I go, hey, do you know who we are? Well, no. What do you guys do there? They were not aware that we support women who are there.
Yeah.
And occasionally you get somebody who's like, I know them.
Yeah.
They have supported me through my pregnancies.
Yeah.
And that blew me away because I don't know why I didn't expect to run into that more. But one was, I'm not going to name names because I want to keep them confidential because I don't know if they want that out there. But the first one I went to, they supported us big time.
Wow.
I mean, her work did. And another one was currently was pregnant, and that's who they came to and made a decision, both of those, to keep their babies. And hearing their stories, their managers, it moved their managers to say, we need to support this. And that's what the community is about. Yeah. These women who, for whatever purpose, I'm not here to judge anybody, but find themselves in a difficult situation, being pregnant, maybe timing, maybe it's resource. I don't know what the story is. I don't need to know what the story is. Right. I just need to know that they need to know that they are valued, they're loved, and our community is behind them and helping them being supported.
I can only imagine, too, and I've thought about this before we move on to the jingle and bid and how important it is the empowerment or the motivation one would feel if, you are on your own and you find out that you're pregnant and you maybe at first go, I don't know, this isn't for me, but you go and you meet with the Vitality and you aren't told, we don't want you to do this, but there's options that are available to you and you have a team that will support you. I can only imagine if the decision is, I'm going to do this, how empowered you feel afterwards whenever you go through those 9 months, and then you get to, hold your baby, and then, you get to succeed in your day job and be that successful single mother or, single, new family out there in the world that's just learning how to figure it out,
college student. I mean, it's amazing what you can do. Incredible. They are.
You put your mind, and it's one of those, I'm sure, sets up lifetimes of, if I can do that, if I did it once, I can, do it again. Right. Not necessarily pregnancy, but anything. Truly anything.
Anything.
Yeah.
I became a nurse at 50.
right. I love that.
So, mother of 6.
I love that. What a story.
Very supportive family. My husband was supportive of that. And it's funny, I was an ex-school teacher. We came from Las Vegas. I was a blackjack dealer.
Were you really?
Yeah, I was.
You learn so much.
This is incredible.
The talents never stop.
I know. I mean, and I could have come here and done that. But when I was a blackjack dealer, nothing against the gaming industry, I didn't feel fulfilled. Yeah. And I thought, if I'm going to leave my kids to go work, I want to do something that I feel good. Yeah. And being a nurse, and it's so blessed to be an OB nurse because I've had so many OB nurses help me through my deliveries and stuff. A way of giving back. Yeah. Does that make sense? So in our lives, if you stop and think about who are the situations or the people who impacted you, what can you do? Mm-hmm. How can you give back? Because it feels good to do that. Yeah. Being a nurse feels good because I know that I'm helping people. And basically, I'm just talking to them, just having a conversation like we're having today, whether it's delivering a baby or getting people prepped or helping people chart. It's just having that conversation with them and helping them along.
We keep going back to it with, and we've had Calc on the last couple of times, Jackie, but it's just that feeling heard and care. Whatever your care is, if you're, getting ready to have a baby, if you're just now expecting, or if you're, a bruised, tailbone and you're going in to, get it looked at. It's, those conversations move mountains more so than any, discharge paperwork or any medication chart of how to help you will, because you don't feel like you're a part of the system. You feel like you have an advocate or a friend, and that's so important.
That you're being seen.
Yeah.
Right? We all need to be seen. All of us in the world need to be seen.
100%. And this kind of goes right in because last year, Shannon, you were a powerhouse, and I went through the jingle and bid on the show, and it took me 45 minutes. Because of how many items you had. That was incredible. Jingle and Bid is coming up again this year. It's going to be July the 24th through November the 24th. I do get paid. November the 24th through December the 4th, where you can bid, give, and celebrate the season of hope and joy for area individuals. Fill me in. Where should we start and talk about the importance of this?
I'll tell you what. It really is a big deal because last year it was when we came in. I noticed the first thing was that we'd had 2 fundraisers that were really carrying us throughout the year, and so as a board, we were sitting there and we were talking about ideas, and we were like, let's do this online auction. And I didn't know how it was going to go. I threw out a couple numbers. We'll either make $7 or we'll make 75,000 or we'll make somewhere in between, right? Like you just don't know. And when we looked historically, there haven't been a lot of businesses that have really participated in the programs that we had done. And so I didn't really know what to expect. And I was like, if we get 20 businesses to wrap their arms around this thing, we can build some really cool baskets and make a few bucks in the process. And all of that would go towards operation costs and helping us do all the things we need to do. And I was blown away when Shannon came in one day and she's like, here's some of the places I've been. And it was like 4 pages of just business after business after business after business. I'm like, this is incredible. And by the end of it, we went from having 4 businesses support us to our other fundraisers to having over 80 support us in this auction.
That's right.
Yeah.
That was huge.
Well, and really, I think regardless of course, we want you to write a check for $100,000.
Yes, we do.
But I think it's so cool though, because what better way to grow an organization's message over, here's what $ we need, but then to truly being involved and opening up and just having conversations with the other businesses and the entities that make up the Riverbend. Because you touched on it earlier, Shannon, and Jackie, you've done it for weeks, or for a year now with Vitality Speaks, is, you have to get yourself out there. And even though you've been there for 40 years, people drive by.
They do.
And really people need to see you sometimes in order for that, connection to truly stick. And it did. How cool is it that what you taught in Boy Scouts and Girl Scouts is coming back to help you with? I mean, this is the coolest full circle interview.
And it was incredible. She came in and she would share the stories of the conversations she'd had of women that had experiences 20 years ago. And it was just so cool to realize
it is
the
amazing
impact in the community.
That
our
center does and has been doing. I mean, we've had many different names, but how much that impacts. And people don't always talk about that.
I don't know if it's even appropriate to say, but even at the charity or the fundraiser dinner, and we see the candles that are lit up on stage. And regardless of, and for the general public, it's not even an anti or pro-abortion argument. It's a families kept intact conversation for me, because when I see 100+ candles, those are, 100+ individuals that get to be connected with their families. They get to really have that American dream, or whatever we want to call it. And and I think that's more important than any of the whatever political arguments get thrown out there. It's you guys are keeping families together, and maybe for the first time creating one. And not because you two are personally doing it, but because of the systems that are in place to truly help these
the support that
individuals get supported. I love this.
They really do need
so
to have
important. I don't know why I just felt like that was important to get out there.
Well, it is. It's a powerful thing. And even like that night, so at the dinner, it was like it was 150 total candles representing
that's what it was, 150.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then we had Shannon get up and share the stories.
That's right.
And I had so many people come up to me after the dinner and talk about the power of what she was saying from the stage. Because
it was huge.
I don't even know what I said. It was not pre-planned. I just speak from the heart, right? And I think that's important to speak from your heart. And it was about, and this is what, jump into one of our, like, what can you do? If you want to help, and maybe finances is not what you can do. Is there anything else that I can, there's so many ways people can help.
Yes.
Come down, talk to us. Let other people recognize your gifts, and they'll tell you how you can help, right?
Yeah.
Don't be afraid.
Share the Facebook post.
That's right.
Even just let people know about
that we're here and what we do and what our needs are, and go far and wide, because it's important.
I think anyone, no matter who they are, would be truly eye-opened to see the amount of impact that Vitality and the previous names of the organization have, impacted over the decade.
My gosh.
I mean, seriously, I wouldn't be surprised if the ratio is 1 out of every, 8 to 10 homes in the Riverbend area have been touched by that. I mean, seriously, and I'm not joking about that.
No, you are.
No. Yeah, the stats, they say even in churches, 1 in 4 women have been touched by.
That's right. See,
sure.
I was right on it then. It's just
Yeah.
incredible. I mean, truly incredible. Shannon, was there a particular donor interaction or any? I know you talked about one, you didn't want to give the name. Was there? And maybe I think I'll leave this in a different way because I asked you this question already. Is there one non-donor but volunteer or just participant, conversation where you're talking to somebody in church maybe about this, or outside of maybe a Vitality setting, where you're like, wow, this is cool.
That is cool. So in all the places that I went, there were so many people. I can't even say one that I met, total strangers, and had no idea what we did or what we're about, and yet we're engaged in a conversation, And so, well, what can I do? Well, what can you do? Can you donate for this? Some people, and I still can't remember who that man was because I'm old.
I'm young and I don't know.
But to say, if you can't do something, who do you know who can help us, right?
Yeah.
And just, I really just think it was going out and touching people, right?
Yeah.
Some were able to give, some were not. I can't say there was any one particular one that stood out, except for the 2 stories I told you that just, it warmed my heart, more than anything else.
I think too, we don't have enough time to talk about this today because it'll be another 2-hour show, but with someone as as devout as you are in your faith, and it's got to be cool too in a way, hindsight, when you're doing something that you love and you're helping an organization, but also I'm sure it helps you so much more spiritually with anything that you're thinking about or asking about and going to. I don't know. I'm not trying to put words out there or anything. It's just, to me, that's what I'm gathering from some of this too.
Well, if you look at your faith and what it tells us to do, right? And you, before you go out, you're praying, what I pray for is God give me the right words. That's all, because I didn't prep for this. I don't prep for it. God's going to let me know what I need to say. And he's always told his disciples, I'll give you the words. And he does.
He does.
And so you go out and you meet people and you have those conversations, you're listening. You're not just talking, but you're listening to what they're saying too.
Yeah.
Sometimes you meet people who have been in the situation. Almost everybody knows somebody who's been in this situation. And what can they do? Sometimes we feel very powerless, right?
Yeah.
That something's happened and we can't do anything. And it's good to have that power to help somebody better if you don't even know them anonymously, to know that you're doing something that God has called you to do, and that is to respect life, right? That is so vital to our faith, to our world, and individually. And you're right. I can go to sleep at night and I feel good about it.
I love that.
I
think it's fantastic.
And well rested. Yeah, it is. It's doing what you're called to do.
Yeah. Well, you're right. It just hits on all the boxes here. And, we are rocking and rolling through this. So I got to ask you, Shannon, before we come back and wrap up with Jackie here, if someone's listening today and they go, I'd love to be involved with the organization, or if they just want to learn more and maybe they don't necessarily want to get involved, but they could be a very good help because we don't recognize our own strength sometimes and what we could bring to the table. What would you tell them?
Come down and talk to Jackie.
There you go.
Really, or our staff.
Yeah.
Lori.
Sue.
Yeah.
I mean,
any of the girls in the office, call first. So, make sure somebody's there. Let them know that you want to help. Mm-hmm. They'll ask you questions about different skill sets that you might have. Yeah. It could be, we have our Grandma Gang, right? That is just a beautiful organization of women who are retired, who are grandmas.
Oh,
who are writing letters.
Yeah.
And what an impact that makes on the girls receiving the letters. So sometimes it's something as simple as that. Sometimes it's getting a group at church or a group of friends together to work together. You don't have to do this by yourself. Bring more people. Find out what you can do. Can you fundraise on your own? You got how many of our groups play bunco or hand and foot games, right? I do. And we play for like 4 hours. How about if we start charging our friends and it goes to a donation basket that goes to Thrive?
Right.
It's $5 a game. Come on. We can all afford that.
I'm still waiting on our bard idea from last year. I'm telling you, I want the big giant baby bottles in every bard and they can compete with each other. I mean, you always see everyone throw those damn quarters in that bucket. Why are we not putting them in the baby lounge?
I love it.
You know?
Right. This has to happen next year.
I'm sorry I keep throwing this out there.
No,
I want to see them everywhere I go.
I love
Oh, that would be awesome.
You know, to me, this is a no-brainer for everyone to get a part of because it's not about any thought. It's about helping provide resources to area women to help.
Who need it.
Yes.
Right. I'm not saying we are not making decisions for these women.
It's just options and providing resource.
Exactly.
Well, and too, I love this idea with what you guys are trying to do with young men too, because on the father side of things and the mentorship, because you know it's a generational thing that's got to start somewhere, and if you can help break some of those cycles of those disparities, that's a great thing.
And that is starting to take off. I've had so many conversations in the last 2 weeks with churches, with men's leadership groups that say they want to be a part of this and help raise up the next generation of fathers. Like, how do we build leadership in men that are going to be, leading our community in the next 10, 20, 30 years?
What's the best way to get in touch with you guys about the jingle and bid and donating our items?
So you will probably see me and Shannon on the streets in the next few weeks. We're going to be knocking on doors. But yeah, reach out. Reach out to the clinic, 618-466-1690. Get onto our websites, vitalityspeaks.net. Reach out. We actually had somebody come in yesterday that just a random walk-in. It was just starting to pass out some of the flyers, and the owner wasn't there, but someone that was working the front desk said she just felt led. She's like, I feel like I'm supposed to volunteer. So she came in yesterday, was filling out some paperwork, and she's going to be a perfect advocate and helping us do a lot of things. So very, very bright young lady. She's got a bright future ahead of her, and you just never know. You never know what the conversations will turn into. So please reach out. Cool. We want to build more partnerships, more advocates across the community.
VitalityWomen'sClinic.org for more information on how to get resources for yourself, your loved one. VitalitySpeaks.net to join the great group of individuals that are doing wonderful things for area women. Programming notes for you before we take a quick pause. We're going to come back at 10:15. We're going to talk to Amy Ellick, State Senator Erica Harris about their upcoming job fair. Want to make sure you guys have all the details. Also, though, coming up next Thursday, we're going to be talking to Bishop Tilka, and we're also going to be talking to Monsignor Gray. The Fulton Sheen beatification is taking place. Cardinal Dolan might be on that show. We're holding tuned to that. So there you go. There's your programming note for me. Nice. And for all of you, a quick break. We come back with more next.